Sitting in?
Wait, what?
Ooh. Sitting in a bed. So I'm so incredibly grateful and happy that I ended up at Hawker. And then it just goes ball by ball, and then Ben Stokes just goes absolutely crazy. And next thing you know, it's like 10 runs to win, and you're like, what the actual flip? Like, this is going to happen. And I just remember being on the square and kind of like turning around in a 360-degree motion, and just every fan stadium was still there. Bar the fact that like I'm stone naked with like a lot of other men be around me.
If you do something good consistently, you will become good at it.
Bro, that's hectic.
Think you're ready, bro? Okay.
I'm just down my mask.
Bring it, boys.
I think it's this one.
Aspirin, I've got the schnibbles.
What's the like warm-ups? Like it's gonna be very, very loud.
Yes, bro, if we could start this podcast, that'd be great, eh? Just waiting on one of our co-hosts, yeah.
Dude, I'm trying to get pumped and energized. This is what you wanted. Give me a second.
This is definitely going in. Just
At this rate, you're a guest, bro.
Let's go. Alright, I'm here. I'm ready. Let's go.
What's up, boys?
Hello, Jord.
Hi, Jord.
Yes, it's boys.
Sorry,
Monster's
didn't mean to
kicking
shout.
in,
Just
man.
down the monster, yeah.
Yeah, Monster, if you guys would like to sponsor, shoot us an email.
Boys,
at
listen.
Hectic Podcast,
Sorry, I
gmail.com
interrupted you
or
hard
something.
there, but you could just go again.
Hecticpodcast@gmail.com.
There we go.
Boys,
Nice.
I'm going to start this off with a bang. Sounds like I have something to admit to you, bro.
Oh no, what now?
I may or may not have been taking a little slippery slide down into your girl's DMs lately.
No, I was there when you were. And,
What?
yeah, listen, so I'm chilling on the couch with Hannah last night, just enjoying a good movie. Message. Phone goes off, she picks it up. Jordan Burrs. I'm like, what? What's Jordan messaging you about?
No, I was just trying to make plans for Sunday, bro.
No, he's scared. He's scared about his Iron Man. So now he's trying to get my girlfriend, who is a
triathlete.
proper triathlete,
An actual
triathlete,
Okay.
to help him out.
Jeez, bro.
Yeah.
No, bro. So I basically just messaged her to be like, listen, is Sunday's race too professional for me? Like, am I going to be last?
Short answer, yes.
Oh,
He will be last. He will
Yeah.
come last,
Really,
and it'll
it's
be embarrassing. And I really hope you race.
No, I'm
'Cause
not.
I want to see that.
No, I'm not. But I won't lie. Training has been going well. Ran my first 21 on last week Saturday. Ran with Malk this afternoon. Can't say the same for him.
No, yeah.
Jeez, bro.
Jordan
Horrible.
basically dragged
Pretty
me.
bad, eh?
No,
basically dragged
horrible.
Yeah.
It looked like a bus reversing. I mean, it's half a it's a backhanded compliment there, bro.
Yeah. Thanks, bro. I'll take the
he's
bus.
saying he's
I'll take
large,
the bus,
eh?
bro. Take the
Yeah,
bus.
but buses don't really move that fast. So I'm not going to lie, this podcast was a bit last minute, let's be honest.
Yeah, very last minute. Yeah.
Well done throwing it together, boys.
But
Yeah,
we
yeah.
definitely do have quite a special guest, all the way from Japan.
All the way, bro.
I mean,
Or the UK, it depends how you look at it.
no,
I mean,
Japan. Japan's the hot topic at the
Or
moment.
South Africa, I mean, that's where it was born.
It's just all over. Okay. First of all, welcome back to the Hectic Podcast. Jeez, we haven't even addressed the audience. If you have not, please subscribe. Like this video. And maybe try and make it past like 8 minutes. That'd be great. So today's guest was the head boy of Boys High in 2016. He moved to the UK to study, which then led to an internship for Hawkeye. In the last 8 weeks, he's met the likes of Ben Stokes and Dan Carter. He's one of the most genuine people you'll ever meet. Oh, and he's Jerome Garcia's cousin. It's Matthew Glover.
Don't know where you found that fact,
Look, gloves.
Glover.
Boys, how you doing?
Yeah,
Oh, we good, bro.
Yeah,
we good.
right.
Thanks for having me. Yeah. Listen, what on, eh? Just only respectful, I think. Can we cheers first?
This Mark. I was
Cheers, boys. Good to be here.
Cheers.
Yeah.
yes, bro. So when did your plane land, eh?
A couple hours ago, eh? Yeah.
Serious?
So, as you said in the intro, last minute, now you understand why. But yeah, no, listen, honestly, so good to be here with the boys. And as you say, right back from Japan, so listen, I'm living life, bro, aren't I?
Yeah. I think before we get into all the juicy stories, which you will have to wait for, so stay tuned, let's maybe get into the gift and hand it over to Malkia.
Yeah, so obviously some things, gifts can be small, but have a lot of meaning. So Just reach in my pocket, sorry.
Don't tell me it's a condom.
Malcolm knows
It's
about
not a
small
condom,
things,
it's
but
just-
that's how I'm meaning it.
Right, so obviously, as you can see, and as we've already said, I've been in Japan for the past month or so. And this was actually something I bought for myself initially. And it means quite a lot to me because it kind of signifies being in Japan and kind of where I've come from and where I was and kind of the job that I live now. But I think it's probably going to look much better on your guys' shelf. So if you guys see here, it's kind of just a Rugby World Cup Japan 2019 keyring. In the back it says core values of discipline, integrity, respect, passion and solidarity. And with the Springbok game on Saturday, I think it's only respectful that I hand this over to you boys.
Oh, bro,
Yes,
that's-
That's
right.
right.
No,
I don't want to take. I don't want to take
Yeah.
this, bro.
So
We definitely need to
Thanks,
do
Globs.
overlay.
No,
like
listen,
a
as I
photo
said,
or something.
it's a big week for South Africa, a big week for the Springboks. So let's hope we can bring it home, boys.
No, that's
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
that's
definitely-
Now back in the box.
So definitely put a photo on the screen of that. That's very, very cool.
Yeah, and I think we'll put somewhere special just so we can have.
It's top shelf material. Bro.
Yeah.
Oh, is this how is this how we're doing it, eh?
Should we rate them?
Sorry,
Comments.
sorry to every past person who's been on here.
Yeah, listen. Firstly on the top shelf.
Dude, how did Luke make it to second?
Oh,
yeah.
I don't know.
Let's drop that down there.
Jeez, bro. So speaking of Saturday, who have you
Yeah.
got on the cards? Because obviously you've been studying in the UK, but you
Yeah.
are born and bred South African.
Born and bred, mate. Obviously been in the UK for the past 2 years, and it doesn't go a day past where I don't get tuned something about South Africa and how England's better. But I cannot wait till 48 hours when we stick it to them. You know, as I said earlier, you know, I might be living in England now, but my heart's at Booker. So listen, it's going to be a good game. It's going to be a tough game. I think we can all agree on that. It's going to be bloody tough.
Yeah.
But listen, I think the boys have got it, and we're going to be right behind them, aren't we?
Yeah,
Definitely.
Could you not call your cousin up and just ask him to do us a favour there?
Listen, I can try send him a message, but we had a fight a couple of weeks ago
When he
because I
reffed.
said he reffed like shit. Like,
I mean, let's be honest.
But how bad are the stats? Like when he's reffed our game.
I saw a stats on it. It was something like we've won 2 out of
The last
12?
11.
Oh, 11.
2 out of the last 11 with him.
Yeah.
And previous one was the one against Wales. Now.
He just doesn't
Semi-final.
like us. Let's
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
honest.
I don't think it's.
But
like,
then
so-
again, like
Northern Hemisphere rugby, that kind of thing.
they also French like the English, so
Oh, yeah.
we have a few things in our favour, a few things not in our favour.
Yeah, that's actually true. Yeah.
Wasn't he reffing the game with the test against England with no arm tackle?
The no
With Farrell.
hit
Oh, Farrell,
Farrell,
Marty
on
Farrell
the
tackle.
yesterday, yeah.
Best tackle in the world.
No, it's-
I love the YouTube video afterwards of Rassi like taking who
Oh,
was
yes.
it? Was it Delendo or
I don't know.
no, wasn't it?
Esterhazy? Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was like hitting the bag,
Yeah.
and he's like, no.
Less
Like it was like
arms.
solid tackle. He's like,
Less arms.
put the arm, behind, and I want to see that shoulder. Like, yes, I was laughing.
That's how we do at World Rugby, bro.
Yeah, listen.
I mean, we were talking about Malcolm being a bust a bit earlier. Robin showed me a very disturbing picture the other day. Highly disturbing. From about, 8 months ago?
Of me?
Yes.
Oh.
Okay, then we fine. I was missing and the heart rates are going up.
Jeez, that's the word for it. Disturbing. No, but what George is referring to is just like how skinny I actually was.
Oh, really?
And like, I think
Have
from
you not seen
Was-
the picture?
No, I haven't seen the
Past
picture.
tense?
was.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Just checking.
I'll show you after the podcast, whatever. But it was actually ridiculous. And like the thing about the photo is like I'm reaching out here or something like that. So it's like
You're flexing, bro.
no. But what I'm saying is like that's the most like
Aesthetically pleasing he could look,
no.
No.
It was really bad. Like if you're trying to look big, usually you tuck the arm in here,
Yeah.
and then it was out there. So it was just like it looked
Small
like just a
boy.
bone, bro, to be honest.
Okay, seeing as we diverged there.
Wait, let's
get
keep
back-
it on the topic of Rob's, actually. Sorry.
Yes, nice segue, bro. I
Yeah,
like that.
thanks, bro. So, a little story. The other day, it was Sunday, after the Wales game. We went to a pub, we watched the game.
A pub.
Oh, Duke's,
Sorry,
bro,
a
it's a
pub.
pub.
Are we
So-
in England, bro?
Oh,
So
well,
that's probably my
Yeah,
fault.
it's his fault, yeah.
It's been on the podcast for 5 minutes, bro.
Okay, relax. So anyway, we went to a bar. Then we went back to my house and chilled there for a bit, did a bit of drinking, whatever, had a good time. But when we got there, Gloves and I were sitting around the table with Malcolm. And Malcolm gets a phone call. And Glove is the closest to Malcolm's phone, so he picks it up. He's like, Oh, Mul, your mom's calling. Let's just say the caller ID was Mums. And
Okay, but
yet
now you
another
know.
person, I'm just saying, another person is just like, listen, your mom is calling, bro. So, like...
Surely you got to change that.
Yeah,
bro.
come on, man.
No, I'm keeping it just out of spite because of this whole situation. 100%.
That's classic Malcolm, if you think about it.
Classic.
Yeah.
Classic Malcolm. So, Glove, you went to Boys High. And
Indeed.
I'm not going to lie to you, I'm surrounded by a few Boys High boys here.
Outnumbered again.
You lucky bugger.
My question is why, bro?
Why?
What possessed you to go to that
What
God-forsaken school?
Well, okay.
Well, I think it all comes down to being born with a brain or not. And,
Also, I think you got accepted to Boys High, hey?
that's probably also very vital. If you want to go there. No, yeah. So, well, I was born in Port Elizabeth. Lived there for my first 13 years of living. Yeah, and then my mom decided one day to come to my room and say, "Let's move to Pretoria." I was like, "You're going absolutely crazy. Like, you're going absolutely bonkers here." And I didn't speak to her for about 2 weeks. True story. And then, she came to me kind of in 2 weeks' time again. It was like, "Matt, we definitely are leaving. Like,
Get over it.
you've tried the sulking trick. Like, it's not working." And that was that. Moved over here in December 2011, and early January 2012, walked up the main streets of Boys High, and in my car keys, thought I was going fishing. To be honest, it was quite an interesting uniform.
Don't even get me started.
Yeah.
Please, man.
But as I say, listen, best decision of my life. I think the three lucky ones here can agree.
Yeah. I mean, I brought this up and I knew I was going to get roasted.
Yeah, 100%.
That was very self-inflicted. I have to put it out there.
Bro, so you ended up being head of school.
Did
Head
ya?
boy, I don't know what you guys call it there.
Hey, boy.
Head boy.
HB.
Bro, so you knew no one coming into Boys High.
Yeah.
So how did you put your foot of approval down on that school and make it from knowing no one to being friends with Izos first of all, and then being
Are we friends?
Oh,
Is that
the head boy.
No,
Yes,
yeah, like, so I moved, as I said, I moved from Port Elizabeth, and actually one of my mates actually moved with me.
Who?
A guy called Adam Usendorf. So if you ever watch this, how's it so we both moved from grade junior and came to Boys High, and because I had this one mate and I obviously didn't know anybody else, the first 2 weeks I was actually just me and him. And then after 2 weeks, he told me one weekend he's moving back to Port Elizabeth. So after that, like, I was kind of like, oh, great.
Sick.
I think I've shafted myself a bit here. But I think, like, obviously it helped. I like my sports, obviously. I like to think I'm quite a sporty person. And so I think it was on our second day of Boys High, like second day of grade 8, you have your cricket trials. And so, obviously then you kind of just chucked into a net with 10 different people. And from then, you're kind of forced to either speak to people or stay quiet.
Yeah.
And then if you speak to people, you'll hopefully kind of make a few connections, make a few relationships. And if you don't, well, then you become that person who stays probably the whole 5 years, kind of just quiet. And
Malcolm.
No, me.
Yeah, but so I think probably sports played a big role.
Yeah.
I was, with my cricket and hockey and squash, I met a whole different array of people. Guys who I'm still not very good mates with now. I think I remember meeting Malcolm actually second week of Boys High, and I just remember him. So I think he was playing B's in cricket at the time, and I was playing A's, and we shared nets. And after practice, like, we were all kind of ready to go home after like a 2-hour practice, but he piercing heat, and we were like, "Listen, we need to get out of here." And then Malcolm's dad comes and he puts a bottle down on the cricket pitch.
Word.
And so that was my first impression of Malcolm. He was there like after practice, and his dad was there, his old man was there like helping him, and he was there trying to like hit with his bowling, try and land in the same spot every single time. And we weren't mates then, but kind of that's when I first met him. And then Zander, a few months down the line, hockey trials. If I'm not mistaken, Zander never played hockey before.
No.
What?
Never played hockey, yeah.
No.
So as you can see how desperate we were.
Okay, alright.
No, but yeah. So and then kind of through the trial process, we both were lucky enough to end up in the A's and met him. And then, that's how I met these two. And kind of throughout the 5 years, it was kind of just being involved as much as possible. So with my sport, I was lucky to meet so many guys. And obviously, I tried to make a good impression on them. And luckily, I guess I did. And then music is a big part of my life. So I played the saxophone and percussion in school. And so with that, I was in the orchestra and the jazz band and stuff. And so I met a whole different crowd. Some people overlapped and some people definitely didn't. And so I met a whole different crowd also. And then also just kind of class, just trying to be a good lad.
I think in the first podcast, when we were explaining like how we all met, and I said like the start of Zana and my friendship was that we were in the same register class. And it reiterates the fact that if you spend a lot of time around someone, you're bound to make friends, especially in all boys school and around that environment. And like I think in schools, specifically all boys schools, but also all schools, like the house system, especially boys high, it's insane. It's so critically important, and like it's effectively a mini school inside a school. So you end up making friends with like
you have your own assembly.
Literally boys high.
I mean, in a school of 1,550 boys, like it's very easy to almost get lost. But at the same time, if you make even minimal efforts, you'll definitely find someone who has the same interests as you. And then, as they say, also the house system, you have the same like register class for 5 years with the same 35 odd blokes, and that helps a lot. It helps a hell of a lot. So
if anything, it forces friendships. Like get used to it. If this guy irritates you, deal with it. You're gonna see him for a very long time still. So, but I'd also say like to comment on that. I think sports is so important, and I always questioned why my dad used to like push me to do sports and stuff like that. And he said, you'll learn a lot about people, you'll make friends and stuff. And only I'd say in grade like 10, 11 and 12 did I really understand what that like meant.
All that being said though, like Glover was the captain of our under 14A hockey team. And like from that season on, he always had my vote for like prefect at least. I knew it, like, bro, I called it when we were in grade like 9. I was like, Glover's head boy.
To be fair though, Jordan, like, just to give you some like background, Boys High has a serious thing of like creating hype around predictions for head boy and prefects. Like serious thing, like, and then you'll hear like as soon as it's like, and the head boy for 2016. Matthew Glover, and everyone's like, I told you. Glover, I knew it, bro, I knew it. It's like, everyone knew it, bro, because, I feel like half of it is almost, not to take anything away from you, but like,
but you might take it away from me.
but like, it's kind of like, if you're the lucky one to get called out by like one loud guy, I think it helps a lot, but it's quite funny. It's quite funny.
Dude, it's like so different to St. Albans. Like, obviously, we were 500, 550, like a third of your school. Still beat you in matric anyway. And like rugby, bro, the only sport that matters.
Okay.
Do you know how big that was for our school, just by the way?
No, I can imagine.
How many years did it take you?
52 or something.
Oh, right, okay.
All the years.
all the years.
That's actually true.
Okay, let's move on. Bruce, so obviously you made a success of your high school. Moving forward, you then moved to the UK to go study. How different is the UK to South Africa? And like, bro, you seem to like make yourself very like known and popular and stuff, and then just take it all away. I think you get a thrill of like meeting new people and like making it to the top, and then you're like, okay, let me go to Japan now.
Oh well, I mean, what do you say after that? No, so actually first studied at Tux for 8 months. Did or rather failed actuarial sciences there, and but with the whole time I had the intention of going overseas. Did not want to go to England really, because of what you hear of the place and the guys, and well, that's initially of course. But so I was looking at Netherlands, France, Germany, and Ireland, and then those didn't work out, so I ended up going to the UK. My first 2 weeks there were very interesting. I think everyone thinks because you speak the same language, and like you guys, like both nations play the same sports. We're actually very similar nations in some ways, But at the same time, because of that, people think we're the same, but you will be so different, eh? Like, we really, really are different. And it did take me a while. The first 2 weeks definitely actually were my worst 2 weeks in the UK to date. Struggled to kind of meet people, make friends. Wasn't feeling like very confident around people, just because I did feel different. Now when I look back, like, being different is the best part of it, and people now like know me for being different, but in a good way, and they almost like respect me for being different and the position that I kind of threw myself into. But back then, I felt so different that I was like, I don't think I'm going to be able to stay here. Yeah, I mean, I remember thinking plenty of times, like, yes, I don't know if I can stay here. And with that kind of a shitty time, then comes, like, I started, like, getting sick and stuff, and like through hockey and stuff, got another concussion. Another one. We'll definitely get into that one.
Definitely get back to that.
But got another concussion in the UK, and like, listen, I'll be honest, I'm a mommy's boy. I'll put it out there. Like, I'm not afraid to say it. Yeah. And so, definitely. Like, like when you're sick, all you want is like your mom's like give you like a nice cup of tea or something, or like, and then just be around family, everything's chilled. But like when you halfway across the world, and you're sitting in like your res room, completely alone, you haven't made friends, and now you have a bloody concussion, so you kind of literally have to stay in your room, calling on your phone basically, and you're like, right, this is great. Like, great decision coming here, Matthew.
So you went from, head boy at Boys High into Tux, where, they call it Form 6 or grade 13, where you still knew everyone. And then suddenly it was just like, okay, bye everyone. Hello, people I've never seen in my life before.
Yeah, literally, and it's kind of like you completely start your life over. Everyone back here, or at least my mates, that they know like flipping basically my mom's middle name almost, Yeah. And then I kind of moved there, and it was like starting my life over, and everything I did or spoke about, I had to explain. I was like, well, I'm from Pretoria. Oh, is that near Cape Town? Well, no, it's just not. And then it's like, I live in Pretoria. Oh, do you have lions near you? No. Because I live in a city.
So let's like, is that a serious like?
I must admit, I'll put it out there. I've met one girl.
Drop it, name. Drop it.
Do it. If you're out there. And
imagine she watches this. So good.
I'll definitely tag it into something just for banter. But she asked me after a night, where exactly is South Africa? And I was like, well, what do you mean? She's like, well, because it's called South Africa. And I promise it's a true story. but it's not actually in Africa, is it? Promise you, wow. Hands down, she said to me.
It's got the continents now.
And I was sitting on a bed and I was like, yo.
Sitting in?
Wait, what?
Ooh. Sitting in a bed.
Well, they should
sitting on her bed. In her room. We were just chilling outside. Oh, goodness. No, but true story, she actually asked me that. So, like, there are some people...
How did you respond to that? Were you just like...
No, I just tried to, like, kind of correct her as nice as possible. But in my head, I was like, wow, this is, like, some serious problems here.
I've heard of people, I don't know, maybe Zanz knows from people from Australia as well, that with this similar thing, but I know of people who... this is obviously also a bit of a rare situation, but they just thought South Africa was like a section of Africa. Like they didn't know South Africa itself was a country.
I thought it was more like Southern Africa.
Yeah. So they think like South Africa is like a section like the Horn of Africa or whatever. People didn't know that South Africa is an actual country.
But what's ironic is that we come from South Africa, which is meant to be like a third world country, and we're meant to like know less than the world. However, we have such a better, I don't know if it's a cultural understanding or even a geographical understanding of other countries than they do on us. And they're meant to be like first world countries. And
I think it's probably, we learn about other countries.
Oh yeah, they might not learn about us.
Whereas because we are, like in certain aspects, we kind of like the underdogs of a lot of things. Like we're not a first world country, our financial state isn't exactly like London or England's or America's or something. So, like, we learn about that in lots of our different like subjects in school, whereas they don't learn about us. So, it's not actually taking anything away from them. Like, this situation, again, was quite rare, and, like, it wasn't because the person was, like, stupid or whatever. It's just, like, sometimes they
You
just,
just don't
understand.
yeah.
Which part of the UK or England are you? Like,
So I go to Loughborough University, so I'm like pinpoint in the middle. So if you know Leicester, like the football club, then I'm 10 minutes north of them by train, and then I can get to London in like an hour and 15 minutes also by train. So it's like literally pinpoint UK. So it's quite nice, like because also I've always been like a big city boy, and like I very much love being a big city boy. It's quite nice, like kind of going more countryside sort of thing. It's a very small town. It's probably like similar to Stellies. I think there are 18,000 students and then 40,000 people in the town altogether. So it's very much like the local people live around us and not the other way around.
So you say it's like a university town?
It's literally a university town. It's like for us here, it's like literally the Clint of Stellies.
Yeah.
Or Potch or something like that.
I like to think Stellies more.
Yeah, for sure. But Potch.
Yeah. No, yeah, it is. So in that aspect, like it's great. But yeah, in the middle, so also great climate in the middle of England. So it's not as bad as everyone makes it out to seem, luckily. So yeah, you have some nice summers. Doesn't rain too much there, so we're quite lucky.
And have you done much travelling like around the UK?
Actually, inside the UK, for the first basically 2 years, I've only really travelled for hockey. So every Wednesday and Saturday we'll have a hockey match. Wednesday will basically be the equivalent of a varsity cup match. Okay. And Saturday will be more league, so you can be playing against 50-year-olds or whatever. But with those, obviously some games will be at home, but other games will be away. Saturday games will be regional, so it'll be in our sort of area. You'll probably only travel like 40 minutes maximum. But then on a Wednesday, you could be travelling quite a lot further. You could be travelling all the way to Edinburgh in Scotland.
Do you fly or do you go on the train?
No, we'll just normally drive. Yeah.
You guys have to drive on your own?
So most of our guys, like our students, will have cars there, and then they'll drive and they'll claim back the petrol prices from uni.
Oh, that's nice.
But
how long is the drive to like Edinburgh, for example?
Oh, I wish I could tell you actually. But it's a good like 10 hours. I'd like to say.
Serious? Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I think it's because Edinburgh's quite a lot higher, you know.
Yeah.
So most of our games will normally be maximum like a 2-hour drive, and then so on Wednesdays we take a bus on Wednesdays, and then on Saturday our players will drive. Okay. But it's nice. So I have travelled a little bit, but initially, as I say, it was just for hockey. So I kind of get there an hour and a half or 2 hours before the match, play, go to the bar afterwards, have like a very big thing. There's fines between like the two teams, or we'll have boat races between the two teams. That's like a big thing. That's like a big bragging rights after a match. It's kind of like after the match. Doesn't matter who's won, but if you win the boat race, you've won the day. So it's cool in that regard. But then, as I say, you'll go to the bar for 2 or 3 drinks or more if you like it, and then you'll head home. So you actually don't like spend time in the place you're at. So in that regard, I didn't actually travel. I was just going to a place for something to do, and then kind of left straight away.
Astro bar.
Yeah. So haven't done much traveling, and then because of visas, I can't go to Europe without a Schengen visa, and they're quite short-term visas. So I haven't kind of got one yet. So I haven't been able to go to Europe as of yet. But hopefully I'll be able to change that pretty soon.
Yeah. I have a Dutch passport, so I can.
Yeah, I think you guys have one of the nicest passports there actually, because you can just go anywhere. Yeah.
Just coming back to like the cultural stuff. Like obviously Brandon Boyson is in Ireland.
Yeah.
And his biggest thing is like when he comes back here, he says that the guys there, they don't socialize like how we do. So we'll like come chill here, have a braai, have a beer. Where like there in Dublin, in Ireland, you only see your mates really at class, and then like if you go out,
like a pre-sleep sort of thing. Yeah,
like no one just like chills.
Yeah, I think one of the main reasons for that is probably actually the climate. So here, like we can go to any one of our houses during the day. It'll be belting hot outside. You have a braai, you'll have drinks because it's hot. There'll be a pool there, which is also normally a massive like factor which can attract like social experience sort of thing.
100%.
There's a pool there,
Sunday,
I mean we were all there last Sunday at your place, and you know we had beers in our hands, tops. Right. I saw pictures. But so I think that actually plays quite a big like factor. Whereas there during the day, like often it is in great weather. It might not be raining, but it'll be like very cold. You won't be outside, and so you kind of that whole aspect kind of gets taken away. So I completely agree with him there. Like it's very much not the same in terms of socialising and stuff. When it gets to summer there though, like the country comes alive. It's like it's awesome, and I think because I don't have the sun so long in the year, when you get like the 3 months in the sun, everyone in the nation is outside. They'll be having barbecues, and I'm saying that on purpose because they don't deserve to be called a bra. Having barbecues with like barbecuing burger patties and pork sausages, and that's it. That's their barbecue. So that's been quite a something I had to learn, like to get used to.
Quite a letdown, eh?
Yeah, and I've never liked pork, so it kind of already took a big end of it off me.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like I said, I agree with him there. It is quite different in that regard. But then also there, as opposed to here, you have a lot more pubs. And I'm saying pubs again on purpose. So here, if you can think now, how often, or tell me one time when you've gone with a group of mates to a bar sort of set up just for one pint and left. Probably not very often. You'll go to
almost never.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, it always starts like that.
Yes.
Let's go have a beer.
But it'll
And then
be
you get
sort of
trapped.
something like let's go to Corner Pocket and play pool
Yeah.
and then have a beer or two.
Mm.
The only other place that you have are Old Boys.
Hogshead.
Where's your Old Boys? Sorry, by the way.
They don't.
You guys don't have old
No,
boys?
so-
I mean, isn't old boys every
Nah,
school?
well, they say that, but we
You
all
guys
know
claim
deep
that.
down
You guys
inside.
claim
100%.
that.
No,
We
but
all
so
know it's ours.
back to the discussion. No, so you have Old Boys, and then you can go to Jollies or Dukes or the Ground, I guess, for like a beer. But it's not like really a thing to do.
So are you saying it's like more of like for us it's more of an occasion, like we have to plan to go do it,
Yeah. And
or
and it will normally be with something in mind. Or
Yeah.
so but I think basically the two opposing things are you either for us we have a house chill or a house jewel and we'll be there for the day and we'll, as I said, we said earlier, like swim, bra, have drinks. Whereas them, their equivalent of that, because they can't do it outside, they'll do it inside in a pub setting. And so we'll go, like, you could go flip up to 5 nights a week. On average, we'll probably go like 2 or 3 nights a week. And you'll just go to the pub and have drinks. And sometimes you go for 2 pints, and other times you'll go for plenty pints. But also, if you have like, and I mean like literally 10, 12 pints there, you don't always have the intention of going out. It's just like
just sit
that's the equivalent of your chilling at someone's house and having a nice little
Okay.
nice chill.
Whereas, like, if you think about it, when last have we gone somewhere with the intention of it being prees?
Yeah, no, we always pre at home.
It's always at someone's house, always, or at Ulcie. Like, I'd say Ulcie is like the most out there place we go to.
Yeah.
Like, otherwise, I guess maybe Corner Pocket, but then again, it's never the intention of let's go have prees at Corner Pocket. It's let's go play pool at Corner Pocket.
Like,
and
why
then
would
end up going
why would
out.
I go pre at Corner Pocket when I can pre at my house for 120 rand?
Well, exactly, that's the
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, so it's very different in that regard. Whereas we'll go to the pub and it could be to have drinks, it could be to maybe start prees, probably unlikely though, or it could be to go and watch the football. And like that's a big thing. Like you'll go watch like all the big football matches at the pub because why would you watch it in res?
Yeah.
But also no one lives in Loughborough, so no one has a house with like a nice sort of TV. All the like obviously here is Supersport, which is the best sort of sports broadcaster in the world because they have rights for everything. Whereas there, one football match could be on Sky Sports, one could be on BT Sport, one could be on RTV.
Yeah, no,
Like
that's
your
what, when I went
BBC.
to London, the
Yeah.
TV system is so
Exactly,
whack.
yeah.
It's
So
whack.
So like I don't, and all of those you have to pay for, or you have to legally stream them, which
Like,
to be honest I'm not that keen on doing. Like
so you have to pay for like different DSTV.
so you'll pay for Sky Sports for a month or something, but you'll be paying for a month you could be paying up to like 400 rand.
Sure.
But like
And that's just
but
that.
Exactly, that's just Sky Sports, and then sometimes you only get certain Sky Sports sports channels. So Sky Sports is probably the most equivalent to Super Sports.
Yeah.
So they have like various channels for all the different sports, but they might not have rights for some games. So I think it's called Super Saturday. I think it's that, which is the early morning football matches on a Saturday. If I'm not mistaken, BBC has rights for those. So if your team's playing on a Saturday and you have Sky Sports, well then you're pretty screwed because
Yeah.
you can't watch it. And so because of that regard, all the pubs obviously have all of the licenses and stuff. So you'll go there with like your lads, and you normally like I have WhatsApp groups with like all the Liverpool supporters, like within the hockey club, and we'll go together to watch all the Liverpool matches. So it's like a nice little vibe for that.
Okay. So then when you guys go out, it must be like quite a big thing, and that like leads me into how is the party scene there like compared to South Africa? Obviously there's more drugs there compared to here.
Yeah.
Just like a comparison would be great.
Yeah, so if we start with, see what you brought today, we start with drugs. It's quite crazy. It's a big thing there. And it's normally like quite like hectic. What do they call it? Class A. That's what you call it. Class A drugs.
Like heavy drugs.
Yeah, it's like some heavy stuff, you know.
Cocaine, ecstasy.
Yeah, so that's kind of, it's just kind of, again, it's part of the culture. It's not everyone. It's definitely not. But it's like within the university system, it's almost like more normalized between the students. So like people won't be shocked if you're kind of doing something. Let's put it that way. So that's in that regard. In terms of an actual night out, music-wise, completely different.
Hip hop.
So obviously here, deep house,
Oh.
and it's probably just deep house. You have like, if it's like a long night or like Truth or something, you have like 8 different DJs all doing deep house, and you loving every second of it. You know.
So we're going out tonight.
Whereas there, so in my university also, and actually all the universities, we have clubs on our campus. So it's very nice in that regard that I leave my room after pre or something, or leave like our kitchen in res, walk 5 minutes to the club, spend the whole night there, and then I can walk 5 minutes back home.
No,
That's
still,
the
bro.
craziest. That's the craziest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah. So
What do you mean, bro? You do it like every second
Yes, but this is
But
not
Jordan,
on
you
campus.
have such
bro.
you're so lucky, you're fortunate in a way that we can walk from your house to where we jaw. Like that's unheard of in South Africa if you think
but
about
I think it's more the fact that we have like a 3-room or 3-story club on our campus,
That's
ridiculous.
like right next to the athletics track, and then right next to the rugby field. It's like, what's going on here?
After the first team game, you just...
Yeah, exactly. It's literally
That's
like that.
literally,
So after any actually sports game, as I said, you'll go with the opposing team. Normally have a boat race or something, but then you'll normally stay there. So it's called the Students' Union. So the Student Union is your place where you'll find your dentist, your optometrist, a shop, a hairdresser, a restaurant or two, and then you'll have like a pub sort of thing, which will be open like all hours of the day, and then you'll have a place called Victory Bar, and that's what at Loughborough it's called Victory Bar. And so you'll take the sports teams to Victory Bar, and then on a Wednesday they have a DJ coming at like 3 o'clock when the match is sort of starting to finish, and you'll go there with the other team. You're going to start drinking and playing games and stuff, and then the same place transforms itself. So the Student Union transforms itself into a club. So you say, I'm going to the Student Union tonight. And then that same place, all the shops obviously closed, but like the inner perimeter and then other rooms in that same building become clubs. But like they're big. Like our main room 1 in the Students' Union is, like if you put like kind of the Jollies, Dukes, the Garage, basically all of them put together on like a flat surface. It's massive. Like you can ask Jared Brown about it. He's been there. Like it's huge. Like it's so cool. And then there will be your sort of like pop sort of music, like very mixed sort of way. That's where lots of people go there if they want like a bit of everything. And then you'll have another room which will be completely R&B, or what do they call it in UK? Grime. Yeah. I'm not a big fan of that at all. So I don't really head into that room. But then the room upstairs is a place called Fusion, and then they'll play like golden oldies and like cheesy tunes. So that's the definition, like fusion, cheesy tunes and golden oldies. And up there is also where on a night out, if it's after a hockey match or after any sports match, you'll go in your sports attire, because we have things called ones, as they kind of call it high school also. So basically you have to wear chinos, collared shirt and your sports attire.
Formal, yeah.
And then you go out like that, and then we'll go to hockey bar or hockey corner, which is upstairs in Fusion, and you'll basically the whole night spend your time with your hockey lads. And I'll be honest, like when you're wearing like a sports tie at a place like Loughborough, which is a very, very sporty university, it does help. So like
No,
we
don't
actually,
speak to me about the goals a bit,
Yeah,
Joe.
whatever like, bro.
yeah, so we don't care about the music and this thing. Actually, what are the girls like?
Let's get down to the facts, Joe.
Let's get
Like the girls are really cool. In one regard, I'll put out there, they're very straight with you. So they'll call you no. Like I would not say they're slutty at all. I'll be honest. I'll get on to why, but I think lots of people just accuse them of being slutty. But because, like I said earlier, like we kind of have our races and clubs and everything on campus.
Oh, it's so
It
easy.
kind of it's kind of like within the culture that if you meet a girl on a night out and you kiss her, you could be more than likely going home with her. It's not because they started, it's just because of how it kind of works there. So I think a lot of people look from the outside and they're like, whoa, like, yo, she went home with a guy last night and then like next week she's going with a different guy, like, yo, you're such a slut. But it's actually not the case. Like, if that was the case, every person would be called a slut sort of thing. Like, but it's just kind of...
So I think it's definitely in a way that everything being on campus and like you could almost be staying across from like the girl that you end up kissing.
Also, one thing very important is that all our races are co-ed.
Yeah.
So for instance,
Jordan's just going off.
So all the res in Loughborough, and I actually think it's pretty much the same in the whole of the UK. It's not like a res here where it goes up like 12 stories high or something, and you live in, I don't know, Tybos or something. There it's like
a commune.
Yeah, you live in like blocks. So they're about, in my res, Rutherford, you'll have, I think there are 21 blocks, and in each block you'll probably have between 12 to 18 people living in that block. So it's just 2 stories. Those 12 people will share a kitchen. And depending on what sort of arrangement you've got, some share a bathroom, others either ensuite. And then, as I said, you just share the bathroom. But you could have like a girl in the room right next to you.
So how many girls do you have in your block?
So in my first and second year, actually no, first year I only had 3 girls in my block. In my second year, I had, I think it was 9 out of 12.
Jeez. Ratio.
Yeah.
On point.
But I think that cuts out like a lot of other issues that normally came up, like when you go out or when you're trying to go home with someone.
Yeah.
But think about. Let me paint you a little scenario and tell us
a story.
Tell me if you've done this before.
Okay.
So you're living in a house with 9 girls, 3 guys. You're bound to hook up with one of the girls in your block.
Second year, yeah.
Just gotta,
So
just
you
gotta think about
hook up
it.
with her maybe a week or 5 weeks later. You meet a girl at a bar, a pub. You bring her back. Let's
Other
go.
one sees her. So,
Yeah, I mean,
So
it
that's
could get quite
Okay,
messy.
but then let me restate here.
And I
What
feel
I
like-
meant is, for example, right? I'm going to use Xander as an example here.
Great, thanks, Bria.
You meet a girl at Jolly's. Her name's Hannah, right?
What a J. What a J.
straight.
But no, and you say to, like, you guys kiss, whatnot. You say to her, come back to my house. Where do you stay? That's never a question asked.
Yeah,
at the
So
Love
that's
Day.
exactly.
Yeah.
So there are, I think there definitely
Does that make more sense?
advantages and disadvantages of living with girls.
Yeah, for sure.
Obviously, in that respect, yeah, okay, it's a lot.
It's
better.
not where do you stay. It's like
so that element
which
is not
direction
completely
do we
yeah.
walk?
How many
Like-
steps?
how many steps?
So that element is I completely agree with you. It takes
Yeah.
a huge difficulty here out of the equation.
And maybe for girls, like especially after the recent stuff, I'm sure you saw.
Yeah, I mean,
situation.
yeah.
But I think maybe do girls feel like a bit safer in that aspect?
I think they do.
Or-
I mean, because everything's on a campus, from kind of the club opening, let's say, I think it opens at 11 o'clock. After the first half an hour, some people could be leaving, for instance.
Yeah.
So not because they're hooking up, but just because they're like tired, they're just not feeling it that night. So from like half 11 all the way up until 4, where the club closes, people are walking backwards and forwards, pretty much the similar paths. So obviously, so we have I think like 7 races in one direction, like 3 in the other direction, 2 like off campus maybe. But at pretty much all time of the day, when you have 16,000 students all in the same area, there's always going to be people walking in that direction.
Yeah.
So if you want to leave, if I'll say girls especially, if girls want to leave at 1 o'clock in the morning by themselves, they don't have to feel like flip out, like I have to seriously get someone to come home with me, like because I don't feel safe or this something's going to happen. Like they'll just go home, and you'll ask them and it's more actually like kind of people who have, let's say, lived in, I don't want to say rough part of the world, but just like where they've seen a bit more, heard a few more stories, and seen what can happen. Like I'll be the type of person that's just like kind of mess with you when you're back.
Yeah.
Just so I kind of know it's not. They probably will like take nothing from you sort of asking, but it's just like me. So I know because obviously you do hear stories, and also me being there. Now because I'm in the UK, it's like what the rest of the world sees. And that's why everyone always like thinks South Africa is such a dangerous place. And it is obviously dangerous in some rights, but they like the media obviously exponentially makes it worse. And I'm kind of now hearing some of those like really bad things.
Yeah,
I feel like South Africa's bad. I think it's worse than we even think and know. And I think we're just so acclimatized to being like...
Yeah, we're in a fortunate position too.
Yeah,
send me a message when you're home. Like we don't... Like when I walked home the other night from the strip alone, and I was just like, Zandsproof, if I don't message you in 20 minutes, you know something's gone wrong.
Yeah.
We walked up, but also I think we're more aware. Like the whole time I was like...
Yeah, I mean, I must admit, I still do that in the UK. So I still like, if I'm walking alone on a night out, I'll still be looking around, and like kind of, and not because I'm like afraid or worried. It's just like it's just being cautious and just it's almost being clever. No matter where you are in the world, if you're walking back the night with your girl or a boy, you're most probably gonna have a phone on you or wallet.
Because the thing is it's that one time that you think, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I'm hammered, who cares, let me walk back. Someone walks up to you, then next thing you... And I think people don't realize, like, I think a lot of people think that you can handle that situation, like you can deal with it.
But it just takes that one time for you to realize that you can't.
Yeah,
100%.
No,
definitely.
Speaking about being hammered, let me change it, flip it on its side.
I love this just going okay. It's so good.
I love that transition.
So if you get like too drunk, right, and you're walking back to res, and obviously you get a bit mischievous and that, and you start doing a couple of things. I know, like, personally speaking from my experience, I've stolen a couple of signs on my way home, that kind
That's
of thing.
big in the UK, stealing traffic cones,
signs. Really going
we're not going there, but like who's enforcing like safety on like this campus? Like, how's it, like, if you get too wasted and you go and cause some trouble, is it campus security or is it
So it's exactly that. So it's called campus security, and they'll drive around 24 hours a day, a couple of cars, like around the campus sort of main streets, which pass all the lecture theatres, all the sports fields, the club specifically, and then the races.
And like, what kind of authority?
Line logger?
Line logger, authority do they have?
I must admit, I don't want to throw things out that aren't true, but I think like it's almost like being back at school in that regard. Like, they would be like your headmaster, your teacher, sort of thing. Okay. Because you live on campus, we've signed certain documents that say like what we can do, what we can't do. Right. If we doing things or getting up shit and it's not like okay, or basically against the law, let's put it that way, or like harming the university, or I don't know, spray painting something, I don't know, it's just all those things, then I don't know what they'd actually do, but they definitely put you in their truck and probably take you to security, wait for you to sober up, and then you'd probably have like disciplinary hearings with like kind of higher places or something.
There's some kind of thing you got to like abide by.
Yeah, definitely. And then outside the club, you have like external bouncers, a company who will be, and they're like hardcore. So like even if you're in the union and you're like too drunk or they see you doing something stupid, they'll kick you out and you get like a black cross that's like stamp. You basically can't go back in. Normally that happens though. Also, camp security will probably take you back to your res and make sure that you've gone like in your own res and you kind of there. And then also we also have, in terms of if you're just being too drunk and you're not doing anything stupid because you probably can't because you're so drunk, sort of thing. Then we have, it's called the sober bus or something, or drunk bus, and it's kind of like a taxi here.
It's quite cool.
And then they'll basically be sitting outside the union all the time during a night out. And then if you get so drunk that you can't like walk or whatever, again you'll get a stamp normally. And then you'll be taken back to a res that they'll literally physically carry out the club, take you back to a res, physically carry you back into your bed if necessary, and then, well, you probably can sleep seriously well.
That's pretty cool. Nice service.
So just to clarify, people take them quite seriously.
Yeah.
Like, they don't like tell them like, piss off, leave me alone. Like, if they...
I mean, they probably do, but at the end of the day, like, they'll be harsh on you.
Okay.
I don't know if you've experienced this in the UK, but when I was in London for like one of my first times, we were at a mall, and I went to one of the security guards to ask him for like help with something, and it's the weirdest thing. Like, he looks like he's like a security guard from South Africa, but he speaks to me in this British accent, so clear and so like well spoken, and I stood there for a minute. I was like, "What?
Just,
never mind.
That's there. Yeah.
No. Okay, wait. It's alright. So South African jaw or UK jaw? Which one?
Make a choice right
Make a
now.
choice.
5,
Pick one.
4, 3, 2, 1.
South African jaw.
Oh, yeah, good man. Good
Okay,
man.
no, let me change it. Your boys from England and South Africa are in both countries at the same time.
Right,
SA or England jaw. So everyone's together.
England jaw.
So the jaws are better there, boys.
So I think so. That's the thing. So that's what be my main reason, because, like, obviously I'm South African. I get on well with them, but like, you guys are like my boys. You know everything about me. We had a lot together, and we just similar people because we're from the same nation, sort of thing. So they probably have better jaws there because you can get clubs where it's like thousands of people and international artists coming.
Yeah.
And we had, for instance, our university. He's not big now, but someone like Sean Kingston came. What's the guy who Man's Not Hot? What's the guy's name?
Shaq, Big Shaq.
Yeah, Big Shaq was at our university doing a gig there.
No, man.
No, yeah, like so they make a big effort in getting like kind of big name artists, as you put it.
Right.
So in that respect, the actual jaw itself probably England, but yeah, definitely the boys back here.
And then one last question on this. Like, I'm pretty sure it's an obvious choice, but Guinness or Castle Light?
Guinness is like drinking petrol.
I know you can. I'm not. You can't like
Gotta make a
compare those.
choice,
No, because
because
Guinness
you're
is so different.
You're allowed one more beer.
If you
before
say
die.
UK beer, well then Black Label. But
Oh! Okay, that's a real South African idea.
but like Guinness,
Something.
I must admit, I seriously love Guinness. It's such a nice drink. It took me a while to kind of get into it, but then it just goes down,
Have
you know.
you ever had it with blackcurrant?
Guinness with blackcurrant.
Bro, when I was in London.
I'll try it now, but I wouldn't think it would be
It's
nice.
incredible. Incredible.
There's like a great Guinness though.
I think my dad and I had like 7 on the trot, bro.
Only 7.
With blackcurrant.
Blackcurrant. Yeah.
Interesting.
Bro, I do want to move on
Mm.
to Japan.
Japan.
Because this is what I'm
Big.
most excited to hear about.
Yeah.
So basically, for those of you who don't know, you got an internship at Hawkeye,
Yeah.
which is... I'm just going to let you explain it. What is Hawkeye? How did you get it? And
Right,
just
so-
go, bro.
How did it lead you to Japan? That's what.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So first of all, the way I got the job is in the UK. After your second year of studying, you have the option of either studying abroad for a year, working at a company for a year, or going straight into final year. And I thought, I'm basically already studying abroad, so there's no point in going to another new country and studying. Let me go and work for a British company. Obviously, if I can get on my CV that I've worked for a British company as a South African citizen, get UK pay and salary for a year, like it's kind of a no-brainer. So applied like 25 businesses. Anyway, led me to Hawkeye. Yeah, 25. Got denied by
24.
20, actually was 24 to be honest.
Really?
Yeah,
Serious?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I applied at banks, I applied at automotive industries, I applied at this, that. Some just didn't apply. So I'm just going to claim that my email didn't get to them, whatever. Others turned me down after round 1. But basically, it's like a normal interview process or a normal application process. You send in your CV. Then for some jobs, you might have to do psychometric testing. So on your laptop, you'll just have to do maths testing, English testing, and like situational testing. And then you'll normally go to a video interview and then a personal phone call interview or in person. And then you'll go to an assessment day. And at the assessment day, you'll go to the company, meet some of the managers that you could be working with, and they'll kind of chuck tasks to you. Normally a group task, a single presentation task, and then something where they kind of chuck in the deep end within something that's related to their business, and they say kind of what would you do. So as I say, some I got rejected after the first one with just my CV, some after interview, and some assessment day.
I think you definitely got probably the best one.
So I'm so incredibly grateful and happy that I ended up at Hawkeye, and it wasn't at all a relegation thing. I found out that I was accepted at Hawkeye when I didn't even know about some others yet. And I went, once I got that, I was actually sitting at Hudson's, I was back in South Africa at the time, and I got my acceptance, and I got this email, and I was sitting with Michael Sinclair, and I was just like, can we please have 2 more pints, please? Sorry, 2 more beers. And I was literally like, I was so overjoyed, and I said to the other companies, some of them I went back to and I said, sorry, I've already now accepted one, like, there's no point in kind of carrying on. Others came back to me afterwards and said, sorry, we can't accept you. So it all worked out in the end. So I started with them, finished my second year of studies end of June, and I started with them 1st of July. First 2 weeks were training weeks. So I applied in your interview at the company on your assessment day. I applied for a cricket role. So you can either basically go, because our main sports are, or main sports, but kind of ones when people know us for cricket and tennis, because the technology is actually called Hawkeye in those sports. So you can either choose basically the cricket path, the tennis path, the football, which is VAR and goal line technology, or you can go to smart sport, which is like rugby, hockey, volleyball, where we use our smart replay technology. I chose cricket. Obviously, I have a big love for cricket, and then I thought I could go to some really cool places for a year. And I knew it's only a year, so if I wanted to change a different sport, if I go back to them after studying, then I had that choice. Yeah. Chose cricket. Never been happier. Through it, I've met some great guys. And so, as I say, first week I had kind of a vague sort of training. Well, broad is probably more better way of putting it. Broad training throughout the whole company with all guys who are doing this placement year as part of the degree. So a couple of guys from Loughborough, a couple of guys from Bath, University of Bath, and a couple of guys from other universities. And so first week, broad sort of training about their systems. Second week, cricket-specific training. So then there are only 3 of us, basically worldwide actually, 3 of us that are cricket placement students. But it's not like an internship where you kind of are treated like...
No, you're there to work.
Yeah. I don't want to say like rubbish, but like treated like a coffee boy sort of thing.
Yeah.
There, you're a full-on employee for a year. And so I had that first week of training with cricket and kind of did stuff that I can never imagine sort of thing. And, you kind of see all these technologies. I mean, we've watched cricket and tennis and rugby and football throughout our whole life. And you see all these things being used and implemented. But I never personally thought about how they actually work or how it gets used. I was just like, oh, tennis, the ball's out because of Hawkeye. Well, it's out,
Yeah.
I never was like, oh, it's because there are people actually operating software and their cameras and stuff. So I was very lucky also with the year of sport. That it was the Ashes year in England. So my first gig was the Edgbaston Ashes. So I think that was end of July or beginning of August.
All 3 of us are just sitting here.
Yeah. So that was obviously a great experience. With my first Ashes match, I didn't realize the Ashes was that big. Like I knew it was massive, but when you're actually there and in the environment, it is a huge deal, So did the Edgbaston Ashes, learned a hell of a lot by doing the job. They kind of say they love chucking you in the deep end, and then they say you kind of either swim or sink, but more often than not, or actually all the time, you basically swim. Because all the guys that are with you have all come through the same process normally. We all have very similar age brackets. So everyone's keen to help you. Everyone's keen to answer questions if you have any. It's literally if you want to know something, you ask them, and it's up to you. They'll teach you the basic stuff, but if you want to kind of get that extra edge, then they're more than happy to help you, and they'll sit down and really graft hard with you. But it's just like you putting yourself out there and asking. So did the Edgbaston test, did the mighty Headingley test, where Ben Stokes obviously kind of defeated all odds, and
dude, that was
that was.
Did you watch that live?
Yeah.
So we work in a van just outside the stadium ground, in the outside broadcast, and our van is kind of kitted out with all our computers and technology stuff built in, and so it kind of got to the last 3 hours of the day, and we were like, no, surely not. It's like 8 wickets down, 7 wickets down. I think it was Butler who had the kind of the crucial wicket where once he went out, everyone was like, yes, it's going to be... There's probably a 1% chance now, realistically. And, we're sitting there, and during the match, we're obviously working very hard, but we still kind of... It's just like, I don't know what it is, but you just get this weird feeling like, this could actually happen. This could actually happen. Not only that, but this could happen, and we took part in it. And so it goes from 3 hours to 2 hours... goes 8 wickets down, 9 wickets down, and then it goes the last hour or so, and the 9th wicket goes down, and you're like,
They still needed 100 runs.
Mr. Jack Leach walks in with, I think it was 72 runs to win, and everyone's like, okay, fair enough. He scored a century about 2 weeks ago at the Lords, England vs Ireland, but the rest of the batting lineup has looked so weak during this. It's either the pitch, it's either the bowlers, or it's just bad batting, but either three. He hasn't got odds going from here. And then it just goes ball by ball. And then Ben Stokes just goes absolutely crazy. And next thing you know, it's 10 runs to win. And you're like, what the actual flip? This is going to happen. it's going to happen. Like, if it doesn't happen, I quit my job. Like I've seen everything. It's too much stress for me. Because I promise you, then, although I'm South African, I'm working with English guys and stuff. So, like, the atmosphere, even inside our van, is amazing. You can hear the crowd going absolutely crazy. And you're just like, this is going to happen. It has to happen. 5 runs, 4 runs, 3 runs.
Australia missed that run out.
Yeah, that run out, which, like, in the moment that I forgot who threw it, but in the moment that it was coming to Lion to kind of stump him, everyone knew, okay, it's done. It hasn't happened.
It had to be, yeah.
And then the ball, he just of all times, just like I can't, I don't even words can't explain it. But all I know is that as that last ball, so I'm a ball tracker for cricket, so I track every single delivery of a cricket match. So once that, obviously during that last ball, I had to do something for my job, and that's the main priority. But as that last ball was tracked and I knew everything was okay with the system, I literally sprinted with one of the guys out, and we're very lucky because we have accreditation that lets us go anywhere in the stadium. And so we just ran onto the field, and like I remember putting on my story and just like,
I think I even messaged you.
Yeah, I think one of 100 people or something like that. Yeah. And Ben Stokes kind of walked straight past me, and I didn't say anything because that's one thing about job. We work. That's our career. So although I'm a 21-year-old, like I don't act like, oh, can I get a signature? Can I get a picture? Although I'd bloody love to, I really would. But like that's my job. We have a job. We have to act professional. So I can't just walk there. Well done. Like, yeah, cool. But inside, I'm just like, my heart's actually beating, and I just remember being on the square and kind of like turning around in a 360-degree motion, and just every fan in the stadium was still there. It's just the noise, the pictures, the videos are going out. It's just like, and I was there. So that was a very, very lucky and fortunate position I was in, and I'm grateful for it. I really am.
I think I think you might have told me. Didn't you go for like have a breakfast with Sangakkara or something like that?
No, I didn't quite have breakfast. No, but so one thing is, we work a lot with commentators, especially in cricket, because cricket's such a long game. You have to have a whole entertainment aspect to cricket, and the entertainment aspect comes from sort of stats or this or that. So Hawkeye provides all the packages for pitch maps or wagon wheels or beehives. So obviously, we send that to air, but then it's going to be pretty weird if it's just there and no one speaks about it. Obviously, the commentators didn't speak about it. So we have very big, a lot of communication with the commentators about what we're about to offer them. Would they like to take it? Would they not like to take it? They can ask us to do stuff for them. But because we work very well, or hopefully we work very well together, we have lots of communication and contact with them. So you start to build relationships because they become your colleagues. It's crazy because they all, well, pretty much 99% of them are all ex-players and
big players.
And great players at that, as you say. I mean, in Ashes, we have people like Shane Warne, Sangakkara, Nasser, Bumble, all those lads, and because of that, you do build relationships. And so, like people, they'll come into our van the morning of the test match and kind of just ask us if they want to ask us to do something, we'll do it for them, or we'll just have a chat or this or that. But I mean, at the end of the day, we travel the world for our job, and they travel the world to commentate for their job. So you kind of go to similar places and you build relationships. So it's just one of the perks, I guess, of the job.
Insane,
bro. Yeah.
Well, insane. And then obviously you moved on to.
So did that heading test, and then did Vitality Blast match. It was like the UK T20 Championship or UK T20 Blast. Did a couple of those matches, and then it was 1 week off from Japan. Had a training day. Or a couple of training days, and kind of just to meet some of the guys I'd be operating with, and make sure I was knew exactly what I was doing, what my job was. And then, on the 17th of September, flew out to Japan, and it was the weirdest thing because although I'd been with the company for 2.5 odd months, then it was my first overseas trip. Whereas
and they fly you out.
Yeah.
Do they also pay you to work, or do they just pay all your expenses?
No, so we get a salary. So we get a salary, and then they pay for us to work and our accommodation, and they pay for our flights and this. And then because our job involves being in a foreign country, and obviously we have to eat food, that's fairly important. They pay a certain amount of pounds each day for us to be able to live off. Yeah.
Oh, true, that's insane. Yeah. Imagine getting paid to go watch the Rugby World Cup and Ashes.
Yeah. I think I'll do it.
So what do you prefer, Ashes or Rugby World Cup?
I think, it's hard because Ash was so good this year, wasn't it? But it's got to be the rugby, especially now how it's played out. The spring must be in the final. It's very cool to think that I was there, and it's cool to see. So when a TMO review goes to air, in the bottom right hand screen, you'll see the TMO, or you'll see the back of the TMO's head and other guys' heads, and those are Hawkeye guys, and it's quite weird to now think, oh, that's Mike, or that's Dave, or that's or that's, I don't know, Johnny. It's like, and it's like, I worked with him, or I could have shared a room with him in a hotel, and it's like, that's so cool. And then to see the stadiums on TV now, it's like, yeah, I was sitting right over there during the match, and like, oh yeah, I remember this setup of the match and that, and
it's ridiculous.
Obviously, cricket's a bit more intense, intensively. Like you work more.
Yeah, I mean, obviously with cricket you work a full day. The test match as a ball tracker, I mean, obviously as everyone, but as a ball tracker, I'm tracking every single delivery of a test match. Bro. So it's one of those things you have to love cricket, which obviously I do. But you have to love cricket to be able to do the job. So when it gets to like the fifth day and it's like the evening session, it's like you've tracked thousands of deliveries. Whereas rugby, obviously, as you say, you have the 80-minute match. And obviously before and after, you're also working a hell of a lot. Like, people don't understand what goes into setting up, like, our systems. And afterwards, who we have to send our stuff to. Like, we have to archive our stuff and send it to World Rugby for them to make sure that TMOs and refs and stuff are all doing their job properly. Because we obviously, in rugby, our main thing is we do the TMO processes, but through that, it's because we have every camera feed. So 24, 28 or 32 cameras in the stadium, and then we have access to all those cameras, and then we can use those feeds for a TMO process. So for personally, what I did in the World Cup was I was a medical operator, so I used all those camera feeds to look for guys' concussions. So I would either sit on the halfway line with the match day doctor, or I would sit in the HIA room, and we would be looking for HIAs the whole match. And so constantly watching live play, and then if something looks like pretty serious, or even vaguely serious, I'll like look down and start like trying to find the moments of impact, see if he hit his head or not. If he hit his head, what were his like responses, his initial response, delayed response? Did he return to feet? Did he carry up and start playing? And then there'll be another guy, as I say, let's say I'm pitch side, there'll be another guy in the HA room who does the same job as me, but basically he can send me certain things, and it's called a loop, so he can loop like videos to us, so we kind of, it'll go from 5 seconds to 8 seconds constantly, and I can keep on seeing the initial impact, and then I can show that to the match doctor and be like, okay, this is the initial impact. As you can see, he got a knee to the temple, he's then stayed down for 3 seconds. What's your call here?
Well, I mean, so they got the right guy for the job there.
Yeah,
really experienced the concussions.
He's so bad at what he's talking about because he knows it's a.
So is that in a sense of like you're the guy that'll bring? Okay, is it in a sense of like for TV's sake that you look at the big hits and like
no? So
is that on a like,
so obviously TMOs obviously all going to TV all the time, but the medical side of things is completely different. None of our stuff actually goes to TV. So when I send something to the guy outside, the other Hawker guy outside, it won't be going to TV suddenly.
Oh, okay.
And then the replay will show him hitting his head. That will be replay guys from graphics and stuff.
Okay.
There's a lot of behind the scenes.
No. So
I didn't even know this was happening.
Yeah. So apart from rugby, even the people don't realize what goes into, let's say, a cricket match. Obviously, I've done more of them, and obviously T20 cricket, domestic T20 cricket. Let's say even especially in South Africa, it's like the stadiums are not full. Let's put it bluntly, like they really aren't full. Sometimes you could have like 150 people in the stadium, like a shocking match, because people might think it's a relatively small match. It's not that important. It doesn't have much impact on the table or the log or whatever. But they don't understand that if that match is going to TV and it's being played on SuperSport, there are hundreds of people that are doing the exact same job as they would be doing for that match or the T20 final or something. And it's everyone. It's obviously Hawker guys, and it's the broadcast. The SuperSport will have hundreds of people. You have audio guys, you have graphics guys, you have guys operating the big screen. They just play. There's so many companies that are involved, all doing separate jobs. And together you get that finals thing on TV, and that's what you guys see. But behind the scenes, people are literally 3 days before a test match. I'm setting up equipment. I'm carrying cameras, like physically carrying cameras, like 20 kilogram cameras that cost thousands of pounds. you know. And if I drop it, well, then I'm screwed. I'll probably get fined. Probably, I don't know. But you know, like so, we do all the hardware setting up, cameras, cables, running cables to all these different companies because we, as you say, the end package you see, obviously all those different companies and all those different jobs that people do have to connect, and basically that's done via cables. So you're running cables. If you had to, if you had to go to an outside broadcast compound, which is where all these people are set up in their trucks and stuff, they're just hundreds of cables just lying around. Some big, some small, some with like 8 different ends, some with 1 different end. It's just like it's ridiculous. And as I say, I wish people knew what goes into a match that goes to TV, because I think if they did, those stadiums would be a lot fuller on a constant basis.
Yes, and then we complain when there's 20 seconds of no commentary. Come on, sort it out, you know.
No, there's literally it's so much, and that's also one thing because obviously I've watched sports since I can bloody remember. Like it's so nice now that I get to see a different side of things. Obviously, as I say, you have massive perks of the job, whether it's meeting players or chatting to this person or that person, or being able to be in an awesome country or something. But also, I think I'm actually really grateful for one of the main reasons that I get to see what goes behind a sports like match. And that's so cool because sport's such a big part of mine and actually all 4 of our lives. Like it's so cool to see what actually happens behind the scenes that no one else can see.
And Bruce, so coming away from the work side of things in Japan, like in terms of the good acknowledgement there, in terms of the job, Bruce, tell us about the Japanese people and do they get on it?
Yeah, so in terms of the people themselves, some of the friendliest people I've ever met. They're really there to help you. Their English really isn't good, Like it's not good at all. But even in saying that, they're so willing to help you and try to help you as much as possible. And you'll get people in, like I was staying in a bus station, for instance. I was actually on WhatsApp, to be honest. But I was obviously, because I was on WhatsApp, I was looking down for quite a while. And a guy came over to me. He's like, "Are you okay? Can I help you? Trying to get somewhere?" Because I was standing at a bus station. And I was like, "No, it's okay. Like, don't worry. Like, I'm okay." But it's just like, it's just so nice people are willing to help you then. So the people themselves, great nation. They don't like fighting. They're very like calm sort of nation. They're very quiet nation also. So on like trains and buses and stuff. Obviously being in the UK, I go on trains and buses a lot. So it's quite different to here. But in the UK, it's like a bubbly sort of vibe. People are chatting this and that. Whereas in Japan, it's like very quiet. It's very, not that the UK is not similar, but it's very civilized and calm and respectful place. You know, in a train, the train conductor will bow to you as he comes into the carriage, and he'll then check your tickets. And then he'll bow again when he leaves the carriage. It's just
that's so cool.
Yeah, so the people themselves, such friendly people, such nice people to work with, and such nice people to just kind of meet, you know. The culture, it's just amazing. Whether it be, obviously the people make a big part of their culture, but even like just seeing the country, like the countryside, seeing the mountain ranges, Mount Fuji, seeing how it can go from Tokyo city centre, where most people see on TV, which is like bright lights and this and that, to like a rice paddy or something, and it's like, but this is the same country, and they're not like, it's not like a far distance between the two places. It's just such diverse sort of area of land. They have things like hot springs. I'm sure you guys all know what hot springs are, but like hundreds of these things within a very small radius, and it's like basically like a sauna. You're going there naked in a hot spring, and it's not weird. It's just, and it's not. You just kind of take your clothes. Yeah, I mean, it does. It's like, yeah, I mean, when I was first heard it, I was like, yes, you know, like, maybe not. I don't mind it, but it's just probably It's just like a little bit weird, like personally, because I'm not used to it. But there, you know, you go there and you'll wash yourself like you go to the gym before you get in the pool. You'll wash yourself very clean and stuff, and then you'll just take your clothes and walk to the hot spring and you just chill there, and it'll be hot, and it normally like overlooks something. You'll be like overlooking like the city or something, and you know, hot spring, and it's like, it's actually pretty cool. Like, by the fact that like I'm stone naked with like a lot of other men be around me, this is really cool. Like, this is actually like, it's so cool. This is a thing, and it's a big part of the culture, a massive part.
That's great.
And then the food. I mean,
oh man,
the food is unbelievable. Whether it be obviously the main one that people would think here, sushi. Some of the best sushi I've ever eaten in my life for nothing. Hey. If I convert it back to pounds, because obviously they both like first world countries, so I paid like £8 for a full meal of sushi. Where in the UK I could pay like 30 quid or something. If I bring that back here, like £8, even here, I mean, 150 odd rand.
That's not.
If
not
you go to
bad.
like a nice sushi place here,
Not
you'll
bad
probably
at all.
you'll probably look at paying 150.
You can pay 160 rand for
Yeah.
like all you
Yeah.
can eat.
Well,
So-
whereas there it's like all you can eat, but it's like the most delicious stuff I've ever had in my life. And then a big thing there's ramen. So ramen is basically it's just noodles with broth normally, and then it's made out of like pork bones as far as I'm aware. And then you'll normally have like one piece of pork like in the plate, and you could eat it in a very like social aspect, like around a table or this or that, or like at like a counter, or you can have the complete other side of things, which I found unbelievable. Is that you could go basically into what I could think is the most accurate description is a library booth, and so you have like two wooden like kind of like planks beside you,
It's
so
like
you
a
can't
study center
so you
desk.
can't see what other people are doing, and then like the countertop is like this big, and you have like a shutter in front of you, and you go and you take your seat, then the shutter will open. You can't see their face. The hand comes out. They give you like a piece of paper, which is basically the menu, and a pencil. They close the shutter. You then look and you basically circle what you want. You press a button. They come. They open the shutter. You hand it back. Close the shutter. You then sit there, kind of like
By yourself.
by yourself.
Yeah.
Like so, I had a mate with me, so I could kind of peep around the corner and chat to him. But like they do it like by themselves. It's kind of like if you're a one-man show, or even if you're not, just like going there and it's kind of like a time to just be to yourself and enjoy your meal.
That's very cool.
And then the shutter opens, they hand you your food, and then you eat this, as I say, ramen, like broth and noodles, and that's a big thing there. Ramen shops or restaurants all over the place, and it's also really cheap, and it's bloody delicious, I must say. Yeah, and then obviously steak. I hate to say it, but their steak is seriously good.
Sure, it's not like dog or donkey or something.
I'm
I had to
I'm
go
very,
there.
I'm
I had
very
to
sure.
go
I'm
there.
very sure that
I
is
had
a
to go there.
nice piece of beefsteak.
You hope so.
I mean, it could be different, yeah. I guess it's like you hope it's, yeah.
True.
But like, no, they can seriously. I mean, they're known for their Kobe and Wagyu steak. You hear about those things, and I'm not gonna lie, they are mouth-wateringly delicious. At the same time, you will break your bank account to pay for them.
Oh, yeah.
Like you could pay up to like 1,000 rand for like a nice piece of steak.
Jeez.
Yeah. But so people, culture, scenery, food, like unbelievable. Yeah.
Sounds like you had an absolute.
No, yeah,
last
listen,
3
it
months,
was,
bro.
it was awesome. It's been really, really good. I've been very lucky with, as I say, the year of sports and the people that I've met through the job. All really, really great guys. I get on well with everyone that I've met. And then obviously, as you say, kind of being in a sports match for your job, it's a job that does not feel like a job. Yeah.
Well, Bruce, thanks so much for your time. I think we're going to end with a little. Do you want to speak about this concussion thing? Because
I mean, I'm sure the viewers want it.
go for it, bro.
Okay, so I remember.
I'm going to let you just run this
I'm
actually.
gonna
I'm going to
take
butt
this,
to the
yeah.
registry.
So I think we were under 16.
Yeah, first one, yeah.
So we went to Kersney College for interprovincial hockey tour.
Make it very animated.
That was
we
the
can
second
use
one.
this part as the
Okay.
clickbait.
Yeah,
okay.
sure, I got you.
Like
First one-
send it, Bruce.
first one-
Full send,
Yeah.
full send.
Yeah, full send.
First one was Arnu, if you remember that.
Nah, skip that one. Let's go to the good
Okay,
one.
That was,
Get
a,
angry.
that was a legit concussion, knee to the head.
Oh, well,
Nothing
yeah, that's
exciting.
boring. Happens, sport, whatever. But anyway, so there we are. Under 16, we're playing IPT. We're at Kersney College. So I'm standing in goals because I'm a goalkeeper. Glover's like centre defence.
Centre back, yeah.
Centre back. So I don't know who were playing, but they were pretty good. I remember them being fire.
St. Albans.
No, this is interprovincial, my bro.
See, that's such an almost
Yeah,
comment though. It's
classic.
like-
Got to bring yourselves into this, eh? Always.
Bro, I'm surrounded here by 3 boys high boys.
Anyway, so ball comes into D. Man takes a shot, big shot. I was pretty bad back in the day. Ball goes straight past my head into goal. I turn around, look at the net. I'm like, shit, that was a goal. Here comes Matthew Glover, steaming in from the 23, flipping, runs straight into D. Now he's angry, pissed. So he takes his hockey
So
stick.
I don't know if I was angry at you or the team.
Yeah, probably
We'll
both.
say you just
Yeah. Runs into the goals, but I mean he's moving at quite a good pace, so he runs into the goals, and like I move out of his way, so he cruises past me, throws his stick at the hockey net, at the goal net, bounces back off the net because it was pretty taut, nails him in the forehead, crack. Man like staggers backwards, like whoa, what is that? Okay, cool.
But then I staggered backwards more because I did not do that.
I'm an idiot.
I want to
Like-
put some context. The national selectors were behind Zandam at that moment when I was hitting. They were in front of me. I was hoping that could be my year. Well, needless to say, that was not my year.
No jokes. I literally watched this hockey stick leave his hands, hit the net, bounce off the net, and just nail him straight in the forehead. Gah! So yeah, I was like, "Bro, you okay?" And he was like, "Whoa, okay." Man gets subbed. I think he went to Kings Park for a concussion test or something.
Well,
like
I didn't get subbed at first. That was the
that.
thing.
Didn't you?
And then it got to half time. I don't remember anything from the half time
Yeah.
team talk.
Pretty bad.
Mr. Holiday, who was that?
Yeah.
And
Mark.
and then the second half came, and I was running backwards, and I tripped over my own knee,
Yes,
and I hit
yeah.
the back of my head. I think that was just like the icing on top. I was literally like 2 kind of knocks to the head, and by that stage I was gone. And then obviously,
Man was extremely loopy for the next few days. Let's put it that way. Just lay in bed.
also though, I had the
moaning,
worst
constant
people to
moaning.
live with
Yeah, I
in
know.
my dorm. I was
Oh,
with
my.
Jared, Donovan, Tyron, myself, and Bradley Fanamava.
Bro, you walked into that room and it was like being trapped in some
Yeah.
kind of like, I don't know, something that smells so bad. And your eyes start watering, you start
Yeah.
coughing. It was just...
So there I am,
Oh,
having
that's
to.
horrible.
I had to keep quiet and not sort of. You're supposed to like dark lights and everything, and I have bloody Bradley and Donovan jumping on my bed and blasting music with deep bass in the music. And I'm like,
It was that
"Can you
room on
joke
a
it?"
sports tour where you
Yeah.
just like, don't go in there.
Anyway, needless to say, I was out for a good for a long time after that.
Yeah.
And then my last one.
No, wait. Same year, I've got to bring it back. Sorry, dude. Same year, I'm going to bring it back to this. We go on indoor hockey tour to Cape Town. I think it was our first indoor hockey tour. Yeah. And I've never
Yeah.
seen Glover more hacked at me in his whole life, bro. Like, this man has never been that angry at me. Ever. But, so we had this little balcony on our room, and now it's 3 of us staying in this nice, really nice hotel room. And the sliding door, how it kind of works is like, it opens from this, like,
No, it
from
looks
the
like a normal
right
sliding
and the
door.
left. No,
Don't lie.
it
It
opens
looks like a
from the
normal
right
sliding
and the
door.
left. So you could open them both ways.
still
They would
beating
end
up
up like
the
that. You have like 2 entrances and 2 exits, if you want to think about it like that. So they're kind of like joined up. So Glover goes out onto the balcony and he's like putting out his shin pads to let them get some air on his glove, whatever. And I go out on the other side of the balcony to put my kid out, and I close his side of the door. Man's head is literally on the railing, and I just lay this like, this man stands
said,
up
yeah.
and just went off at me. I was like, okay, I'm
I
not
was
ready
not
to go home. I'll catch a flight back to Pretoria. Let's go.
Words are coming out of my
Wow.
mouth, and I was like,
Yeah.
I was not at this, man. Luckily, I was okay.
Yeah.
But I think that's probably the angst of everyone knows
Yeah.
to this day.
Crazy.
I actually forgot
Love
about
it.
that up until right now.
Yeah, thank you for that, bro. That was great.
So you owe me another beer because you never actually said sorry
I'm
properly.
sorry, I'm sorry. we'll do it first on the Hectic podcast. I'm sorry, Matthew Glover.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
it's a pleasure, bro.
But then I think on that note,
On that segue.
with heads being smashed, let's go into mental health.
Below our minds, yeah.
Bro,
Mental
like
health
we actually got quite a lot of feedback from the viewers saying that they actually enjoy the segment.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
So I think definitely keep going at it, bro.
Alright, so today we got Genius is Divine Perseverance by Woodrow T. Wilson, which was the President of the United States. That was before World War II, I might be wrong.
Dude, are you speaking out your ass now? Or you being
No, I'm being
dead
dead
serious?
You didn't take
serious.
history, didn't you?
I did take
Yeah, okay.
I did take history, and I am being serious. Yeah, clever man. I think he brought the US out of. Might be talking crap now, but no, let's leave it there.
We'll
Okay,
also fact guy.
Genius.
Is
What?
divine perseverance.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I
And what
mean
it
that's
means,
back in the
but
day.
interesting.
Well,
So, but like, if
basically,
you persevere to things, you'll become a genius.
You
at
are a
it.
genius if you persevere.
So, well, it's not
Keep
necessarily,
on-
I think, that you'll
keep on
become a
trucking,
genius.
yeah.
I think it's that's what
Yeah, actually,
being
yeah,
a genius
yeah,
is.
yeah. Actually,
And like
yeah.
consistency and
Exactly.
perseverance.
Just don't
will-
quit, guys.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, schoolwork, sport,
Just something that's
life in general.
Drinking.
Don't quit.
just something Zanz and I
Come
were
on.
chatting about today at gym. If you do anything consistently, now let's keep this to good things, because I'm not going to talk about drugs consistently. That's a bad thing.
That is a
But if you do something good consistently, you will become good at it, and you will see something. And I see this a lot where people are going to the gym for like 2 weeks, and they're like, you know what? Nothing's coming
There's
from
no-
it.
yeah,
There's no
there's
point
no
in me
results.
doing it and stuff like that. And I think that if that's the case, that then you've definitely got the wrong goal in mind. And I think the goal should be nothing physical, nothing mental. It should just be for you to
Be consistent.
Yeah, to
be
go
consistent.
to gym 3 times a week, like for 5 weeks, and then you'll see a difference. Just to end on that.
Let's
So
be
I had to always get serious.
One podcast with a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
Shut
Man's on
I'm a
it.
different man. I'm a different man.
But Matt, Bruce, thanks for coming on. Thanks for giving us your time. I'm sure
Yeah,
you're going to
no,
go have a few beers now.
I think after such a good podcast, it
Definitely
would be
will,
rude not to.
I mean, we might have to
Yeah.
convince Malcolm over here.
Well, I mean, he's going on like live TV now, basically, so it's out to the
Yeah,
world. Mate. You have
listen.
to. No, but listen, on my side, thank you very much for having me. It truly does mean a lot that you guys asked me to come here.
Thanks for coming back to South Africa specifically for this.
No, exactly. Yeah, I think actually should we go to the airport quickly? No, but yeah, it means a lot, and it's obviously really nice to be here and share a bit of what my life is like now, and then obviously do it with 3 good mates, like what more can you ask for, and a line, just put it out there.
And a line.
Yeah,
Lions,
Thanks,
Lion.
Lion.
Thanks, Lion. Thank you.
Do you want to shout out your Instagram just for a little, you never know who's watching.
Okay, I mean, if I have to, he said I had to, so it's at MattyGlover07.
Slide in the DMs,
I
ladies.
think it's 07.
Man's going
Matty
places.
Glover 07. Yeah.
He's going places.
Anything else to add, boys?
Nah.
Good.
Follow us on Instagram at hectic_podcast.
And give us some feedback in the comment
Oh,
section.
chat to us, guys. Engage.
Give us
Help
and
his dads
also,
out.
you know you like this video, especially if you made it this far.
Smash
give it a like.
it.
This is true.
And subscribe, boys. Subscribe.
Yeah,
That's
subscribe.
call to action.
You heard it. Matty Glover said so.
HB said it, guys. Do it.
Peace.
Peace.